rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do. When they pump it in the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. In the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. At the show, it's gonna rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do. When they pump it in the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. In the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. At the show, it's gonna rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do. When they pump it in the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. In the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. At the show, it's gonna rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do. When they pump it in the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. In the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. At the show, it's gonna rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do. When they pump it in the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. In the cheeks, it's gonna rock, ride. At the show, it's gonna rock, ride. Here we go with the butters, boo. You know how we do.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. I know it's been a while since I have uploaded. Had to take an intermission. I had a lot of things I had to do. My daughter, my one and only, just graduated from high school. So I had a lot of family coming in from out of town. Both of my dads was here. My stepmothers, my mothers. I tell y'all, divorce runs in my family. So I have like damn five stepmothers. I got like five, five, five daddies and a half. I'm telling you, I got so many goddamn parents because I've had, divorce has been going on in my family for years. So my daughter has like damn got what, six sets of grandparents. Yeah, so all of them came down. My stepdad came down. My biological and his wife was here. Like I said, my stepdad and his wife. My biological mom and her husband. I mean, It was just a lot of people at my daughter's graduation. So I've been pretty busy this week, these last couple of weeks with that. And, my daughter had a prom and stuff. So, I had a whole lot I had to do, you know what I mean? So, yes, Christmas is usually very great because she's the only child. So, that's why I'm having issues now. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Y'all had a call. That was my husband. Yeah, so like I said, I had a lot of family here. All of my family was down to support my daughter. So I'm very fortunate. I'm blessed that I have a blended family that's willing to put all their differences aside to make sure, me and my daughter is straight. Um, you know, Old school parents are different from these new school parents. The old school parents knew how to stay in a lane. you know uh Everybody got along. It was not about the child support, it was about what was in the best interest of the children. So things back then were pretty different. But with that being said, I know I've been away for a minute. So what's up, V-Dub, Abina, Gab Talk Media? Good morning, Jess. So I also went away for a while because it was just so much foolishness on YouTube. I'm like, I could not, get on YouTube without all of these different contents being loaded up and showing up on my YouTube, with all this chaos going back and forth between different YouTube content creators. And I just needed a break from YouTube because it was just too much. It's just too much watching grown folks just go at each other's throat, just seeing black women disrespect black men disrespect black women, watching other black men disrespect other black men, watching other black women disrespect other black women. And it was just a bit too overwhelming. I didn't fall out with anybody. I didn't have a issue with anyone. It was nothing personal, but I just don't like toxic situations. Anything that's toxic, I try to avoid it. And it was just too much of it going on YouTube. It's just too many content creators that's beefing and with each other and dragging each other through the mud. I can't go into any of these chat rooms and try to learn nothing from anybody with these channels because they're too busy screaming, yelling, arguing. It's just a lot of just buffoonery going on in the YouTube streets. And I just had to take a break, because it was just too much. It seemed like no matter what channel I went to, I'm like, well, let me go over here and see what they're talking about. They arguing and screaming over there. Okay, I log out that chat room. I go into a different channel. Yeah, they screaming and yelling and cussing each other, bitch ass niggas and all this and that over there. And I'm like, God damn, I can't go to none of these channels and just listen to grown folks have a real conversation. And I just had to take a time out from YouTube for a couple of days. I'm like, I just can't, I can't do it for a while. And I even posted it on my community chat, and a lot of my subscribers reached out to me because I was going to shut my channel down just for a little while to take a break. But my subscribers, my family, because I call my subscribers my family, reached out to me and was like, Mocha, you one of the few YouTubers that I listen to. You the only one I rock with. So if you shut your operation down, who I'm going to listen to? Because I don't rock with nobody but you and everything. So I thought about it and I said, it's not fair to my subscribers because my subscribers have always been loyal to me. I never had any issues. I'm not going to shut down my operation just because you have some black folks that don't know how to act and don't know how to carry themselves. Because the truth of the matter is, ignorancy is going to be always going to be somewhere. Ignorancy and drama is going to always exist. Even if I shut my channel down, it's still going to go on, whether I continue to do my material or not. We're just in a world full of toxic people. We got a lot of scorned black men, and we have a lot of bitter black women, and they're going to continue to keep making it chaotic. So I said, you know what? I just got to stay on my lane, and I don't involve myself with these type of individuals. So, with that being said, that's why I came back, to upload and do my upload this morning. And I've decided, to just stay in my lane and avoid the toxic individuals and continue to keep giving my subscribers the best, serving them the best topics of wisdom and knowledge. And that's what I plan on doing. Oh, absolutely, a being adjusting everybody. Yeah, I'm good. I had to sit back and reflect, and I know, and I know what I need to do. It's not about shutting my channel down. It's about just making sure I avoid toxic situations and toxic people in these YouTube streets, because these people can really contaminate your brand, and they can really taint the positivity that you're trying to strive for. So I'm just being careful and being more selective with who I choose to work with in these YouTube streets. So other than that, moving on, let's talk about raising these full-grown children, because I know if it's not you personally going through this, we all know somebody that's still raising grown children. And what I mean by grown children, they over the age of 25, still living in your house, not only living in your house, they also have kids living in your house. And in some cases, some of them got the audacity to bring another man or another woman under your turf, under your roof. And basically, you have grown children that's still extending and having babies under your goddamn roof. We got to talk about this, black folks. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of black folks with these grown people over the age of 25 still living up under the roof. Yes, yes, yes. We all know somebody who doing it. And if we don't know somebody who doing it, you probably doing it your damn self. We got too many grown folks that are living under their parents' roof. And I'm going to tell you who I blame. I blame you parents. Yes, I do. I blame you single moms. I blame you fathers who are allowing these grown men and grown women over the age of 25 that are still living up under your roof. Yes, yes, yes. We got to talk about it. This needs to be discussed, because I'm seeing this happen excessively and very frequently in the black community. A lot of y'all are still breastfeeding your grown sons. A lot of you will not cut the umbilical cord from your grown daughters. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. And this is why the black community, we cannot grow. We cannot get ahead, because we are still enabling our grown children, our grown sons, our grown daughters. And if you have a grown man or a grown woman still living under your roof right now, then mom, dad, I blame you. I blame you, because there's no way they should be over the age of 25 still producing children and living up under your roof. Now, I understand there's different scenarios, like if you're very sickly and or you're disabled, and you and your grown children may have an understanding that they're living with you to help you out because you have a medical condition, and they're not burdening you, they're paying the bills. That's a different story. I'm not saying everybody that's staying with their mom and daddy is being a freeloader. Some people are with their parents to really help them. Exactly. Yep. Just we all know somebody who's doing it. So like I said, I'm not knocking those who are staying with their parents because your mom, your dad is sickly, they disabled. They need somebody there, because they have special case scenarios. That's different. I'm talking about these grown women and grown men. Now, starting with these single moms, I have to target y'all first because most of these grown men and grown women are living with y'all. We have a lot of single parents, a lot of single moms that got their grown sons and grown daughters that are still living with them. Now, keep in mind, the reason why a lot of this is going on, I'm going to tell you why it's going on. I'm going to tell you why there are grown men and grown women still living with their mamas and daddies. What has happened is karma has reproduced itself. And to break that down, because I know a lot of people like, what does karma have to do with it? Let me tell y'all something. If you don't raise your children when they're little, you'll still be raising them when they're grown. I thought this was an interesting topic. I heard there's a YouTuber by the name of Lar Movement. He's one of the gentlemen that I actually respect. He gives very intellectual content, and he was talking about this last week about how a lot of parents are not going to be able to live their golden years because they're still going to be raising their children basically because of bad parenting. And he told 100% truth. And I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what he said a little bit. I just want to go a little bit in depth. So big ups to Law Movement if he catches this content. Um, a lot of parents are going to suffer. A lot of you parents are not going to enjoy your golden years because this is the truth of the matter. When you have a child, I am a mother of one. Like I said, I got my daughter just turned 18 yesterday and she graduated from high school. Now, I love my daughter to death, like any parent should. But at some point, I'm going to look for her to eventually get home. Shit. I'm eventually going to look for her to have her own. I don't care what none of these parents out here say. If you have 5, 6, 7 children, I don't care how many kids you got. At some point, you're going to look for your kids to be on their own. Appreciate that, Jess. Yes, got my one out the way. And I intentionally did it that way. I had just my one so I can enjoy my life. And now I'm at a point where I can go ahead and enjoy my life. Um, a lot of y'all are going to suffer because you have not taught your children anything. You have not given them any tools to be able to come from up to be able to come from up underneath you and go out into the world and have their own. A lot of parents in the Black community, y'all will never get rid of your children. And a lot of this comes from because you did not raise them when they were younger. When you don't raise your children while they're young, meaning you don't give them the tools to be independent, you don't teach them about life, you don't instill in them morals, you don't instill in them values, you don't give them the knowledge they need to be able to become independent so they can become self-sufficient and take care of themselves. Your grown children, a lot of Black parents in the community, y'all are going to be taking care of y'all kids for damn near the rest of y'all life. And in that case, a lot of you have no one to blame but yourselves. I've seen this happen. I've seen mothers who have allowed their children to get away with pure hell during their youth. When you have a son and you have a daughter and you enable them, and you're not teaching them anything, you're not preparing them, in other words, you're not giving them the tools they need where they don't have to keep depending on you. For instance, um it's a lot of you mothers, if you know you have a daughter, it's very important that you stress to your daughter how important it is for her to not get pregnant at a young age. A lot of these grown men and grown women, a lot of them cannot get out there on their own because they have had too many children under your roof parents. When you allow your son and your daughter to keep breeding babies under your roof, do you not understand how hard it's going to be for them to get out on their own and get their own shit because they have too many damn kids, and kids are like bills. The more, but actually, kids are bills, babies are bills. The more babies you got, the more bills you have. A lot of you parents, your children are never going to be able to move out your house because they got too many goddamn kids. That's what we thank you. Exactly, V Dubs. A lot of y'all children cannot move out the house. They got too many kids. If you're under the age of 30 and you're living with your parents and you have 4, 5, 6 kids, 2, 3 children, and you don't have a good paying job, you're working minimum wage, your children are not going to be able to come from up out of your house if you keep allowing them to keep breeding babies under your roof. They will never move out of your house. And this is a painful reality. And the truth of the matter is the reason why it's so hard for some of these grown men and grown women to move from out of their parents' house. They have too many children. Children cost money. Um, the amount of money you spending on your kids, these kids that they keep breeding and bringing into this world, um, that same amount of money could be put towards putting down for a brand new home, could be put towards getting their own apartment, like I said, establishing their credit, so they could own a home of their own one day. A lot of y'all kids are not going to be able to move up from out your house because they got too many children. It's going to be hard for them because they got to take care of those kids. They got to feed those kids. They got to buy those kids clothes. They have to provide for children. If you have a grown child staying with you and they keep breeding babies, they are never going to move from out of your house. It's as simple as that. And you are very wise, Jess, because a lot of people are paying the price for having too many children. You have too many kids too fast, too soon, too young. You stunt your growth. And I know we see this a lot in the hood and we don't think nothing of it. We all know that chick who stay with her mama and got 5, 6 kids. We all know that dude who lives with his mama and got 4 or 5 baby mamas. The chances of him moving out is going to be slim to none because he has too much baggage. This is becoming an ongoing problem in the Black community. And again, it starts from how you raise your child at a young age. Um, you don't teach them anything. They are not going to have the tools and the knowledge they need to move out on their own. Again, as I stated before, a lot of these parents are paying a price because they didn't raise them. Not only that, um, what's going on in the Black community too, and I'm starting to see this a lot, with mostly single mothers. And I hate to go there. Now, if this doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. I'm not saying all Black single mothers are having this problem, but there's a majority of them in the Black community that have sons. And the problem with some of these single Black mothers is they're allowing their sons to not be responsible because they're basically using their sons as substitute husbands. It's a lot of Black single moms in the community that have made their sons the substitute for husbands, meaning that because they don't have a man, because they're not married, they don't have that male companionship, they pretty much lean on their sons. And the problem is, was not all, but the majority of these single black mothers, they enable their sons to become a man child, meaning that because there's not another man there that's structuring him, and she as the single mother, she's doing all the structuring. What's going to happen is she's going to enable her son by giving him all of her feminine traits, um meaning that he's going to adopt her mood swings. He's going to be overly emotional. He's not going to have a masculine bone in his body, which means he may not feel the need to have a job, to go to work, to take care of his children if he has any. We have a lot of single black mothers in the black community that are raising these men childs, these men children, these young men that are supposed to be men, but they're enabling them to the point that they're not becoming men. They basically program these young men and already set them up for failure because they're not providing them with what it takes to be a man. And in many cases, most cases, it takes a man to raise a man. It's as simple as that. As women, we cannot raise men how to become a man. Okay, we can do our best, and this is not to say that you're a bad mother because you can't raise your son. But the truth of the matter is, it takes a man to raise another man. And it's always been that way. I mean, I don't give a damn about the feminist movement. And I know there's a lot of black women that may say, well, I'm the mother, I'm the father. You don't mind wearing both hats. But the truth of the matter is, if your son has no male structure in his life, your son is going to be doomed because you can't teach him everything on how to become a man. It's going to be things that your son is going to have to face out here. It's going to be things he's going to have to deal with. And your feminine characteristics are not going to be able to really prepare him for what he's up against as a full grown man, you know. So again, a lot of you parents are going to pay the price, as far as you're never going to be able to live your golden years. And I see a lot of this going on in the black community. We have single mothers who end up raising single mothers, being meaning that there's a lot of black women, black single mothers in the black community that know the struggle and know how hard it is being a single mother, and yet they will not do anything to prevent and protect their daughters from going down the same road. They are not schooling their daughters, they're not educating their daughters, they're not protecting their daughters from repeating that generational curse. If you as a single black mother, you had to raise 5, 6 kids up on your own by yourself because during your youth you was very promiscuous, or you didn't have any real structure or any real guidance from your parents. You know how your life has been affected by having to be a single mom of 2 or more children, and you know the struggle. You know the complications and the difficulties that come along with it. That alone should be motivating you, should be pushing you to fight with every fiber in your being to protect your daughter from following down that path. So for all of you single moms and who have daughters that have repeated the same mistake, I say shame on you. Because as a black woman, we know what goes on out there these days. And we know that temptation is very strong. And the truth of the matter is, you're not going to be around your children 24/7. You're not going to be able to tell your daughter, don't have sex with this dude. You're not going to be able to tell your son, don't be knocking up these chicks, don't be knocking up these hood rats. No problem, Jess. Thank you for the $5 donation. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you. Um, we're not y'all are not Lost my train of thought. Y'all are not keeping it real with your sons and your daughters. You're not protecting them. You're not giving them the knowledge, knowing what can happen out there. And the truth is, we can't be around our kids 24/7. When they get in that moment, when things are hot and heavy, their hormones are going into overdrive, and you're not there to stop them or make them use their common sense and wisdom and knowledge, things are going to happen. So as a black mother and a black father, seeing all the fuckery that is going on within the black community, you should be proactive. You should take it upon yourself to take all necessary preventive measures before it even happens. As black men and black women, the problem is we only want to deal with things after damage is done. Now we want to deal with it. You already know what can happen. So, as a black mother, you should be taking it upon yourself to educate your black daughter on pregnancy and how it can affect her life, especially if she's out here letting all type of young men raw dog her. Okay? There's too many resources out there as black women for us to allow our black children to become another statistic. My thing is, all of these sources that the government has given black women, the only sources we know to use is child support, WIC, and damn SNAP benefits. Those are the only sources we utilize as black women, when we should be utilizing the birth control resources that is covering, that Medicaid has covered through their insurance plan. Now, how is it we know about child support as black women? How do we know about child support? We know about food stamps, we know about housing, but we don't know about no goddamn birth control. Can somebody answer that for me? Thank you. What's up, Double C? Good morning. Good to see you. Why are we not taking our daughters to the clinic and getting them on some goddamn birth control? That's what I would like to know. If you're getting food stamps and you're getting housing, you're getting governmental assistance, 9 times out of 10, you own Medicaid. And Medicaid covers birth control. So my thing is, why are we as black women, why are we not taking the necessary preventive measures to protect our black daughters from becoming another statistic? This is my question. Y'all should be running y'all daughters to the clinic to get on birth control just as quick as y'all go to catch that happy hour. Ladies get in free before 11 o'clock. Why are we not doing that? That's what I would like to know. As black women, you've been a young black woman before. We've all have experienced being manipulated. You know, when you young and you dumb, you know, when you're going through puberty, things happen. And all of us as black men and black women, we know the temptation that that goes on with these young people in the streets. We've all have been there. We all have experienced it. We've all experienced losing our virginity. We've all experienced as women being used and taken advantage of. As a young black male, you know, we know what can happen. So my thing is, y'all should be taking y'all black daughters to get on birth control so she don't ruin her life, and that way she don't fall into that entrapment of becoming another statistic. because you cannot stop them from having sexual intercourse. If they're going to have intercourse, they're going to have intercourse. But as a parent, if you already know the struggles of being a single mom, why in the hell would you not take all necessary precautions to see to it that your daughter does not have to experience that struggle? But yet we will not do it. And the thing is, when you don't teach your daughters about how to protect themselves from falling into that statistic, not only teaching that, you can't just tell your daughter, don't be having sex with all these dudes, don't be banging all these dudes. Not only do you lecture her, but you need to take the extra initiative in to protect her. Carry these young ladies to the Planned Parenthood clinic or whatever local clinics in your neighborhood. Get these young people on something. There's too much birth control for us to be having our daughters getting knocked up at 13, 14, 15, 16. It makes no sense. It's no excuse for it. There's too many contraceptives out there for this to still be occurring. So once you do that, this protects her future. She can go to college. She can learn a trade to where she can actually learn how to establish herself before she becomes a parent. But that's not what's going on in the Black community. What's going on in the Black community, the majority of these Black single moms, they're not teaching their daughters a goddamn thing. They're not teaching them nothing. They're not preparing them for reality, for truth. They're not doing that. So when these young girls go and get knocked up, guess what happens? 9 times out of 10, if she's living with you, if your daughter is living with you and she gets knocked up, you're going to have to help her. You're going to have to help her. Once your daughter becomes pregnant, guess what? Now you got 2 children you got to raise, because you still got to raise your daughter because she's still under your roof. And now on top of that, now you got to raise your grandchildren. And if you're not one of those mothers, the moment your child gets pregnant on you and you don't make her go get on something, you're going to have a household full of grandchildren. You would never be able to enjoy your life. You would never be able to really enjoy your golden years. I've seen this. If I haven't seen it once, I've seen this 1,000 times within the Black community. Y'all are letting y'all grown children keep breeding babies under your roof. And you're not telling them that if you're going to live here, you got to get on some type of birth control. You cannot live here and keep breeding babies, because the more babies your daughter has under your roof, less chances of her being able to move out and establish her own life and build something for herself, because she got too much baggage. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Generational curses. What's up, Metamorphics? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning. A lot of y'all will never be set free. And not only your daughters, because let me tell you something to you single moms out here. If you got sons, you're not safe. You're not safe because you got sons. Because if you ain't teach your sons anything, or you're not allowing his father to have a productive role in his life, because you got your own bitter ass reasons for why you don't want the father of your child helping you to raise your children, or whatever the case is. Keep in mind that your sons could bring just as much burdens to your life as your daughters. Now, I notice in the Black community, we tend to let our young Black men off the hook, because in our mind, we feel like only the daughters, it's only the females, the Black females who can get pregnant. So we tend to let the young Black men off, and we don't really teach them anything either. But the bad part is, if you're not teaching your son anything and you're making him think it's okay to go around screwing and raw dog and all type of females, do you not realize your sons are gonna owe so much child support, that joker will never be able to move out your house because he has so many kids and he has so much arrearage behind having 6, 7 different goddamn baby mamas. So you're not off the hook because you have a son. Okay? You have to educate your sons just as much as you educate your daughters, because it's a lot of these young black men out here that are knocking up several women at a time, which means before he's even in his 20s, I know some young men, they're not even in their 20s and they already got like 8, 9 different baby mamas. Let's talk about it. Because these young black females, they're not getting knocked up by themselves. Okay, we want to keep staying on black women getting knocked up, but what about these young black men who keep knocking these females up? Does he not realize that having all of these several baby mamas is going to keep him broke? He's never going to have any money. He's never gonna have a future to where if he wanted to get married and married a real woman, how he's going to be able to help her, because he already has 8, 9 other baby mamas out here that gets the majority of his money. He's just going to be a burden in another woman's life because he has all of these goddamn kids. So men, they don't get off the hook no more than these negligent females who keep getting knocked up. Both of them are going to suffer in some form or another. Oh yes, Jess, I'm hurting a lot of people's feelings. Double C says, seems like mothers don't want to teach their sons. Yeah, absolutely. No, they don't want to teach them sons. But if you think about it, Double C, if she has several baby daddies and during her youth, before she became a full black woman, if she went around screwing every Tom, Dick, and Daryl and she saw nothing wrong with it, what is she going to tell her son? What is she going to tell her son? When she is just like the flu, when she has carried herself like the floozies that he's currently impregnating, what is she going to teach him? I tell you what she's going to teach him. Nothing. The problem with the black community is we want to hold one side more accountable than the other side. There is no one side. Guess what? When these kids come in this world all kind of way, everybody's accountable. Everybody. There's no, well, she should have been on birth control, and well, he should have wore a condom. No, both of y'all should have taken the necessary preventive measures to avoid that child from even getting here. We're not going to do the blame game anymore in the black community. That is not going to work. Okay? As a grown ass woman, you got to protect your womb. There's too much birth control out here for you to be getting knocked up by every Tom, Dick, and Daryl. I don't want to hear he didn't want to wear a condom. I don't want to hear, he did the pull-out game. We're too old to keep making excuses. And same thing for you men. I don't want to hear she told me she was on the birth control. So because she told you she was on the birth control, you felt it was okay not to wear a condom. So now you found out this chick lied to you. You want to get mad at her and say she deceived you. No. When you don't use protection, men, you are signing up for child support. Just keep that in mind. That you are signing up for child support. I don't care what she says. Because depending on her motive, she may try to get you. Especially if you're a good dude, you got a good job, things are going great. This chick may get desperate, feel like she can't land a man. So you become a prime candidate that she feels like, if I get knocked up by this dude, I'm going to be straight because he got a good job. He drive a nice car. You got some malicious ass broads out there. So take it upon yourself if you want to. Well, she told me she was on something. I don't give a damn if she said she was on something. You better wear something, because it's just too many grimy ass females out here. And for you ladies, same thing. If you lay down with a man single, he was not your husband when you had sex with him. Keep in mind, when you get pregnant, you're going to be single. He was not your husband before the child came. So guess what? You're going to be a single mom. It is what it is. We're not going to keep sugarcoating and coming up with excuses. I'm tired of black women blaming black men, and I'm tired of black men blaming black women. Let's take accountability for our own bullshit. How about that? I'm tired of it. And that's all we hear on these panels. What's up, Delilah? That's all we hear on these panels. Well, black women need to stop being a hoe. Well, black men, stop fucking with the hoes, okay? Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We gonna have church up in here today because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of black people blaming other black people. Let me tell you something. Even before I got married, I didn't always do things the right way. I'm not holy and righteous. I'm not holier than thou. A lot of things I did sloppy too. But I always made sure I utilized my wisdom and my knowledge. Before I got married, there was guys I was dating. I had boyfriends. I had guys I was dating. And I was sexually active. But I made sure that no matter what I did, I protected myself. I didn't leave it in a man's hands to protect my body. I did that because I cared about myself more than he cared about getting his nut. It's as simple as that. I didn't look for him to volunteer to have a condom. I didn't look for a man to look out for me. I looked out for me from the beginning. I made sure if it was getting down to that, I was already protected. I've been on every birth control in the market. Every birth control. So if a woman wants to know about any birth control, you can email me. I can tell you about every goddamn birth control on this market because I've been on every goddamn one. Side note. So I made sure I protected myself birth control wise. And not only that, I made sure I had condoms in my purse. I refuse to let myself get caught up with a clown that could possibly ruin my goddamn future. Because some of the guys I dated back then, to see where those jokers ended up now, I'm like, Lord, I thank you for having parents in my life that taught me common sense at a young age to where I made none of these dudes my baby daddies. Because some of the clowns I dated, I could only imagine how my life would have been affected if I would have got knocked up by any of these clowns. Because all of my friends in high school that got knocked up by their boyfriends because they were so in love, and we not even in love, they was in lust, okay? When you under 20 years old, ain't no goddamn in love, you in lust, okay? Your hormones is doing all the talking for you. Let's just be frank, okay? A lot of my friends, I graduated high school 99. So a lot of my friends already was mothers at 17, 18 years old. The majority of my friends that got knocked up then, none of them are with their child's father. Not nil one. I can name one on my hand. She's still with the father of her children. But the majority of them, none of them are. That's why I preach to my daughter, do not get knocked up right now. Because the nigga you dating, 9 times out of 10, you gonna hate his ass by the time you get in your freaking 30s. I tell these young men the same thing. Don't knock up none of these females, you under 20, because you're 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be with her by the time you're in your 30s. That's something we have to preach to our children. This is not the time to get pregnant. Don't go making no permanent decisions in your youth, because by the time you get in your middle 20s, you're going to hate them. You're not even going to be with them. Not the majority of us are not with the same people we were with, that who we lost our virginity to, or who we were with during 13, 14, 15. We ain't even with them. We rarely stick with them. The hard top shame black women for me. Yeah, and you're right about that, Delilah. I hear a lot of that in the black community, that there's black women that shame other black women from getting on birth control, which is the most pathetic thing I have ever heard. Why, as black women, why would we discourage these young black women from getting on birth control? Why would we discourage that? You mean to tell me you want more young black women to keep breeding babies from better males, to keep flooding the courts with child support cases, and flooding the standing in the EPT line, the welfare line? Why would we discourage our young black women from not protecting themselves? I don't understand that. Exactly, Jess. And of course, we're going to sound old fashioned because, believe it or not, a lot of these young people, they're not being schooled by their parents. So when they do have parents that are schooling them, we come off as the old fashioned ones. But I'd rather be old fashioned than to see my daughter ruin her life by getting knocked up from some better dude that's going to make her and her child's life miserable. I'm just not going to stand there and just accept it and let her just ruin herself. If you have any love for your sons or your daughters, you're not going to stand there and just let them ruin themselves if you're a real parent. But back to the issue at hand. There's too many people in the black community. Y'all will never be able to enjoy your golden years. You'll never have that freedom of being able to walk around your house booty butt naked, because you're going to always have a house full of grown children and grandchildren. You're never going to enjoy your life. And what happens is, let me tell you what has happened in a lot of cases, y'all, starting with some of these single black moms. Now, again, if this does not apply, you don't have to reply. I'm not saying all single black mothers are not doing their job. It's just certain ones. I was raised by a single black mother. And out of all five of me and my siblings, I'm the only one that has a kid. Okay? My other four or five, my other siblings, my other three siblings, not near one of them got children, and all of them are over the age of 30. I'm the only one. So just note to single moms, it can be done. It can be done. You can raise your children to be successful. You can raise your children to not become a part of the prison system, become a part of the black community statistics. It can be done, because I'm a living witness. My single mom raised all of us. None of us got prison records. None of us got a bunch of children. And like I said, I'm the only one who has a child. So my mom did well. So it can be done. It just depends on you. Okay? So with that being said, let me get back to the point about these single mothers who are not doing their job. What happens in a lot of cases is, in the black community, a lot of these single black mothers, they get so overwhelmed with having to do so much of everything on their own because they don't have a male counterpart, they don't have a partner, they don't have a companion. So all of the weight is on them. The financial weight, the emotional weight, all of it is on them. So what happens is, in many cases, the majority of these single black mothers get so overwhelmed, they pretty much leave them kids to have to raise themselves. This is what usually happens in the black community, because she has to constantly work to pay the bills, or if she's not working, she's dealing with too much of her own personal stuff, to the point to where she will practically leave her children to raise themselves. And what happens is, while she's always at work, or she's going to the club because she done had a long week, she want to get out, she want to have a break, she's constantly leaving her daughters and leaving her sons unattended. This is what happens. When you're a single parent, you're not always home to keep up with what's going on. That gives your children full to run amok, to run buck wild, and to do all kind of stuff behind your back that you know nothing about. What's up, Poetic? How you doing, boo? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning. I'll be reaching out to you soon. I'll send you an email because I want us to get together and do another panel soon. So what happens is, because you're not home enough to supervise your children. This is when shit happens. It's that one young man who's constantly climbing in your daughter's window at night because you don't work so many shifts, you tired, and because you have no one there helping you to raise these children, you got this young man climbing in your window at night, banging your daughter out, and you don't even know because you knock out sleep. Okay? Or if it's not your daughter getting banged, your son is sneaking these fast, floozy ass heifers in your house and screwing them in your bed while you are at work. I've seen this happen to a lot of these single black mothers. They lose track of their kids because they have to keep working to pay the bills. And some of these single moms, they lack effective parenting skills. All they know how to do is work and pay the bills. They don't raise their children. They don't teach their children nothing. You got some women, not every woman who has a child is a mother. And that's just the bottom line. Okay? So while her son and her daughter is doing all kind of stuff, this is when things go wrong because you're not there guiding them. 9 times out of 10, they're not using condoms. They're not using birth control. So what happens? You end up with a grandchild on the way. This is what happens. Okay? You end up with a grandchild and you already struggling just trying to feed the kids you got. And here it is, you got a grandchild on the way. Because as I stated, as single moms, you don't always have the time and energy to keep up with everything your kids are doing. And this is what people have to realize when you sign up to become a single mom, realize that you're going to be doing this full-time job on your own, which means you're not going to be able to catch everything. Even with a regular job, you have what's called a supervisor and an assistant supervisor. Basically, you got more than one manager. That way, when one manager misses something, the other manager could catch it. Okay. If one employee is effing off and not doing the job, that's where another manager could pinpoint it. But if you got one manager running the goddamn company, that manager is going to miss a lot of things that's going wrong in the company. Okay. And that's what's going on with these single parent households. A lot of these single moms are working so much. If she's not working, she may be one of those single mothers. She just loves to do her. Because it amazes me how some of these black women got so many kids, but you still want to do you. How does that work? You cannot have 5, 6 kids, but you still want to do you. You still want to go to the club. You still want to run the streets. You still want to go here, go there, go everywhere. It's not about you. Once you put yourself in a position and you have all of these kids, and you're the only one who's running a whole operation. There's no such thing as I need some me time. Guess what? You don't get no me time when you have two or more children. There is no me time. And I find it ironic that a lot of these single mothers claim, how much they love their children and how much they take care of their kids. But then under the same breath, you'll turn around and say, I'm tired. I need a break. You don't get a goddamn break. You should have thought about that before you was having all these sexcapades and not using any protection. You don't get to have your own life. It's not about you. When you don't have children, then it's all about you. That's how it goes. You can't want to be a mother, but then you still want to have the privilege of other women who don't have kids. It don't work that way. My sister's a successful single mom uses sports activity to provide as positive male influence. So important. Absolutely. And like I said, Jess, it's some black single moms out there handling their business. She knows that, your sister knows that if she does not put her children in some type of activities or something like that, that her son or her daughter is going to get buck wild or whatever, and she's going to come home one day to a grandchild. If you're not careful. And that's another thing, in the black community, it's a lot of black women that are having numerous children, but they cannot afford to give them the best. They cannot afford to put them in activities and put them in things as to where they can pretty much like benefit, where they could benefit and have a productive life. When you having a bunch of children back to back to back, it's hard to afford giving them the best unless you are one of those type of parents you really well off and you make a lot of money. You make a lot of money and you're married, your husband is making good bread, your wife making good bread, then you may can get away with having a lot of children and still able to afford to give them the best. But you know what I noticed? If y'all really pay attention, it's not rich people who are having a bunch of children. If you think about it, you rarely see any millionaires. You rarely see any rich folks who got a lot of children. It's the poor folks who got a lot of children. Exactly, matter. That's what they need a break from. If you think about it, it's us struggling black folks who are the ones that keep producing babies. Those of us who are already in the struggle, working paycheck to paycheck, barely paying a water bill, barely paying a light bill. We already in the struggle, and we're the ones that keep producing. It's the ones who got the money. I don't see them with a bunch of children. I don't know any millionaires who got a bunch of goddamn kids. I don't know, but I can name several poor folks that got a bunch of kids. And the thing about it is, there are some women who have the audacity. They have the audacity to complain about motherhood when it becomes too much and when they become overwhelmed. They will be the first to complain and say, I need a break. What's up, Juniper? Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I don't understand. You know what kills me? Let me ask y'all something. How many of y'all have heard this? Poetic, I know you probably heard this. How many of y'all in this chat room have heard a single mother say, I'm so tired of being by myself? I'm bored. How many of y'all have heard these single moms say, I'm bored? How many of y'all have heard them complain about how bored they are? Just type in the number 1. If you have ever heard a single mom say, I'm bored, or something to the area of, I have no life. How many of us have heard it? Ironically, my thing is, how are you bored when you got 6 or 7 of them jokers running around your house all day? You not bored. You got plenty of company right there. It kills me when I hear a single mother with 5 or 6 kids. She say, I'm bored. I'm lonely. I sure could use some company tonight. You got company, all 6 of them. Like, really? You got note to you mothers out there. Do not complain that you need a break and you got 6 or 7 of them jokers running around your house. Thanks, Juniper, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sis, you got no room to complain about you bored. You not bored. You got 6 or 7 little jokers running around to keep you entertained. Oh boy, I know they're gonna get mad at me about this video today, but it's okay. I just find it very contradictory when a woman will sit up here and have 2 or more children back to back to back, and you complain that your family don't help you. I don't have no support system. Nobody helps me with my kids. I fell out with a girlfriend. Let me tell you, me and a girlfriend of mine, we was friends for every bit of 23, 24 years. I ended my friendship 2 years, like 2 years ago. I think it's been 2 years since we stopped talking. About a year, maybe. We fell out over that because I was truthful and I told her the truth and the truth hurt and she couldn't handle it. She had all of these, she had 5 of these kids back to back to back to back. One of them was from a previous relationship, right? She had her daughter from a previous relationship. And her daughter's oldest father walked out of her life um when she conceived her first child. Now, mind you, she was in college. She was doing well. And she met a gentleman there at the college she was attending. He was one of those guys that was playing in the sports. He was a basketball player. Tall, nice looking. You know how those basketball player guys be cut real nice and everything. And she was dealing with him at the time. And because he was really big, he was very popular at the campus as a basketball player at that time. She told me herself that she intentionally got knocked up from him because she felt like he was going to make it to the pros. Okay, so she already was trying to land her a meal ticket, which was dumb because my thing is, y'all was in college at the time until he actually got signed to an NBA or got drafted. Why would you take that chance in hopes of him making it? I don't know, but sometimes desperate women, we do dumb shit when we're desperate. Okay, so that's what she did. Um, she got knocked up from him, and being that she did it on a malicious level, and this is what happens to us as black women. As black women, when we get pregnant on a malicious level, on a shady level, meaning you and that man did not sit down and agree, okay, we want to have a child together. If you intentionally, even though he should have been using protection, but if you intentionally get pregnant in hopes of keeping that man, 9 times out of 10 is going to backfire. You're going to get the exact opposite of what you were banking on. So my advice to women, don't get knocked up on purpose and think that it's going to get you to that promised land with these dudes, because in many cases, the exact opposite usually happens. It backfires. Every female I've seen that tried to trap a man, she's paid for that shit severely. So be careful doing that. I told my daughter the same thing. Don't get knocked up on purpose because you so in love with this dude and you so scared he gonna leave you. So you get desperate, you panic, you get pregnant in hopes that it's gonna make him stay. Don't be producing these booby trap babies. That's what I call them. I call them booby trap babies. Basically, you use the baby as a booby trap to trap the man. When you do shit like that, it blows up in your face every time. So I would tell all my sisters, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't care how bomb the sex is. I don't care if he got that platinum penis. Don't intentionally get pregnant and pray that he'll stay with you. So back to my point. But that's what she did, okay? And it backfired. All right. He did the exact opposite. He left, she had the baby by herself, had to raise a little girl by herself, but she was managing. She was doing it, handling her business. She was working. She had that one child. Okay. So after that, she eventually got married, and she married a guy that she really wasn't on the best of terms with him when they were dating. They wasn't on the same accord when they were just dating. So why the hell she decided to marry him? I guess what happened in many cases, sometimes when we as women, as women, when we get to a desperate point, um, sometimes we will allow, in most cases, as women, when we get desperate, we will do desperate things and we'll deal with the consequences later. It's kind of like, you're taking a chance, but you just gonna leap off the goddamn cliff and hope something catch your ass while you halfway down and about to just hit the ground and splatter. We hope something is going to catch us when we decide to take that chance and skydive, and 9 times out of 10 nothing catches you. So in her case, I knew what happened was, uh when the first baby father disappointed her, she was so distraught behind that. And instead of her taking time to be by herself to do some self-evaluation and figure out where the hell she went wrong so she could avoid making that same mistake, like many black women, not all black women do it, but when a black woman has reached a desperate state of mind, instead of her being herself, she will go pick up the next dude that is willing to give her some type of attention. What's up, Cool Jen? Good to see you. I was just telling Poetic, I'm gonna send you guys some emails because we're due for another panel. I had to take a little intermission for a while, so I'll explain all that. I'll explain that to y'all later when I get up with y'all. Juniper says, to piggyback on that, most of those athletes plan to upgrade their life at the next level. That includes the girlfriend. I can concur with that. What's up, Reg, the bad guy? Well, actually, the good guy for me anyway. What's up? Good to see you. So this is what happens when women. This is why, as women, you got to be careful, because when desperation sets in, you do desperate ass stuff. Okay. Because the last guy broke her heart, disappointed her, and left her to be a single mom. She wanted so badly to heal from that pain. So in many cases, what some women will do to get over man, they go under another one, which is the most dumbest goddamn thing you could do. But many women do that shit. I'm just calling it out as it is. And that's what she did. Instead of her being by herself, she jumped on the next dude that was willing to give her attention. And the thing about it is, I tell women, until you have healed, until you have completely healed, don't look for no man until you have healed. You don't need to be looking for another man while you damaged or you still broken from what the last guy done did to you. Don't go out there looking for another man, because what you're going to do is you're going to become that next man's headache. That's what you're going to do. Because anytime the next new man does anything similar to what the ex-man did, you're going to penalize the new dude for what the old dude done did to you. Not a smart move. As women, if you are still distraught over the last man who played you, lied to you, manipulated you, you don't need to be looking for another man. Y'all do this dumb shit all the time. And that's why I don't have no girlfriends, because I tell them, your ass had no business jumping on the next penis because you barely got past the last one. That's why I don't have no girlfriends. They hate asking me for advice. But anyway, back to the point. That's what she did. She never got past with the last dude. And so the next man, when you're vulnerable, let me tell you something. When you're vulnerable, it don't take much for the next guy to look like a goddamn prize when you so goddamn vulnerable. If the last guy done pissed on you, it's not going to take much for another guy to win you over, even if he's not the best man for you. If you so broken and distraught over what the last guy did, all the new guy has to do is buy you a box of chicken, and in your mind it's going to mean something to you because you never got past the last man who did you in. We do this shit all the time. What's up, James? Good to see you, James. Yeah, she got passed around metamorphosis like a blunt. So let me tell y'all. So she got with the next guy. Not only did she get with him, she married him right away. Okay, she married him right away. I guess she felt like she failed by not marrying the first guy. So she thought if she just hurried up and got married the second time, it would be different. It still became an epic fail. Rushing down the aisle to hurry up and get married to make up for not marrying the last guy, that's not a smart move either. But that's what she did. Okay. So she married this dude. And what happened was, I found out the reason she married him because she had already gotten pregnant with his child. Okay. So she was already knocked up with the first child. Now, mind you, the marriage was very sour. um you know, he wasn't no better than the first baby daddy who knocked up. But in her mind, she felt like she was doing something different this time because she married him. Okay. So long story short, because I'm not going to go into all of that, she went through a whole lot of stuff with this dude she married. Even after he abused her mentally, physically with the first child, she turned around and got knocked up 3 more times. Okay, check your thing. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, because it didn't alert me yet. Let me see. She got knocked up a few more times. Oh, thanks, Rollo. Appreciate the $3 donation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now she got pregnant every year she was in that marriage. She was only married for 5 years and she had 4 children. So she got pregnant every year in that marriage. And it became a disaster. It just rolled downhill. But like I stated, when women get desperate, we do desperate stuff. And this is where we fell out at. Now, what ended up happening was her and the dude, they ended up going their separate ways. The guy she married, they ended up separating or whatever. He moved to another state, and she stayed in her state, and she stayed in the state with her parents and her family. She didn't want to move to where he was because she didn't have no family, she didn't have no support system. Now, how me and her got into it, she up here had the audacity to tell me because basically after this Negro done pissed in her mouth and called it sweet milk, and he left her anyway. She basically was angry with the fact that her family really did not want to help her with her children. Now, this happens in a lot of cases. It's females who will go out there and get knocked up and have all of these children, and they look for people to support them. They look for their family to come to their rescue. They look for help. And she told me, I guess she had got in the jam financially, and she didn't have any money. And what was going on was, of course, he lived in another state, and he was not sending the child support. He was not sending the money that he should have been sending every month. Okay, so he basically wasn't following the court order that he was required to follow. So he was breaking off with chump change. So which wasn't right because all 40 kids are his, and he don't have any kids from any other women. He wasn't right on that, but she already knew how this joker was. But yet she still kept having children from him. Okay, so she had the audacity to say that she didn't understand why her family won't look out for her when she called them. She need a favor, she needs some money. She don't understand why her family won't look out for her. And I'm like, first of all, your family do not want to support you because they have seen you do the opposite of everything you said you was not going to do. You sat up there and told your family you was not going to have any more children, yet you kept getting pregnant every year. You sat up here and told your family that you was done with him, but yet they finding out you sneaking with him, and you lying and telling your family you ain't dealing with him no more. But when the kids go to visit your people, the kids up there telling you daddy was at the house the other night, he spent the night. So basically you getting caught in all these lies with your family. And basically your family fed up. They really don't want to deal with you. Your family, they got nothing against the kids, but they don't want to deal with the kids because of you. And as a lot of women are not understanding, a lot of y'all kids are not going to be blessed because some of y'all are just straight bitches. I'm gonna just be honest with you. You know, it is what it is. Some of y'all, nobody's not going to beat up for your kids because some of y'all are just too goddamn much to deal with. And it's sad that your kids are going to miss out on their blessings because you do not know how to act. Some of us as women, we do not know how to act. We do not know how to talk to people. We don't know when we coming out our mouth sideways. And listening to how she was talking, I'm like, how the hell you think your family gonna sit up there and help you with your children when you the one who sat up there and cocked your legs open and you had all of these babies and you got this sense of entitlement that people are supposed to help you whenever you get in the bind because you kept getting knocked up by this old clown ass Negro. Yes, rap, I'm back. Yes, Seven, and you know this. She had an attitude because, and it's a lot of us as black women, we do this shit. If you decide to have all of your kids, you can't get an attitude because your family won't babysit your kids, because your family won't lend you no money for your kids. You produce those children. You made that choice. Who are you to think you are entitled? And it's a lot of single moms that look for sympathy and they think they can lean on using their children as a golden ticket to get people to come to their aid. And no, it does not go that way, sis. It don't go that way. My thing is, you have to know your load, know what you can handle. If you are already under struggle, you don't need to be having no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. If you barely making ends meet with your income, if your baby daddies is already uncooperative, you see, they ain't even taking care of the other goddamn kids they got. What the hell make you think it was going to be different for you? It's called using your wisdom and using knowledge and common sense. And we as black women, we have to use our wisdom. Because at the end of the day, it is our bodies. We decide who we choose to breed with. And when y'all breed babies from these better males, y'all be looking for goddamn sympathy. We too old to look for sympathy. And she got upset with me because I kept it 100 with her. I said, first of all, your family don't owe you to keep your children. Those are just your mom's grandkids. Those are your brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews. They're not obligated to helping you with your children. You made that decision. And her excuse was, well, I done been there for them. I done helped them. And when I need the favor returned to me, well, you ain't had to help them either. And you most of the time, I realize a trick. When people do stuff for you, they don't do it from the heart. They do it as a I owe you. I'm looking out for you. So the next time I need something, then you got to look out for me. And I realized that was the only reason she was looking out for them, because she looked at the fact, well, if I give them something, then eventually if I need them to give me something for my kids, then they'll owe me the favor. What's up, Tony Smith? Good to see you. The guys who watch and take notes. You know that, Seven. And you know this. As women, we just can't keep coming up. We can't keep pulling out the sympathy card out the deck because you decide to have all of these children. You know, so as I stated, you have to be realistic with your situation. And again, there's too many black in the black community. It's too many of us that are playing the blame game. It's too many of us playing the blame game. I'm constantly hearing black men blaming black women for their life going in disarray. And I'm constantly hearing black women blame black men for their life going in disarray. The truth of the matter is, both of y'all are at fault. It's too many of us getting on these YouTube panels where we just want to side with one gender. We want to sit up here all day and talk about where the black women are going wrong. Or we want to sit up here all day and talk about where the black men are going wrong. You are your own person. As a black man, as a black woman, you are responsible for your own goddamn actions. This is another thing that pisses me off, because some of you black women, y'all piss me off. Let me tell y'all where y'all be pissing me off at. I've heard more than one of them say this. I've been in situations where I've heard other sisters make this comment. I've heard women say when they would get pregnant or get knocked up from a dude, and she would make a statement and say, he ruined my life. He got me pregnant. If I could put a nickel in my pocket when I've heard a black woman blame another black man and said, he got me pregnant, he holding me back. Are you freaking serious? Are you serious? When I hear a black woman blame another black man for how he got her pregnant, unless he raped you or held you at gunpoint, the last I heard, wasn't you the one who volunteered to lay on your back and open your legs, and you didn't use no protection? So how did he get you pregnant? I had a girlfriend of mine. She told me I didn't want no kids. He just kept getting me pregnant. I'm telling you, yo. As black women, some of the things we do and say is just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And we wonder why these brothers don't have no respect for us, because just being a black woman, when I'm around certain black women, now not all black women, because I have some black girlfriends that are very intelligent, know they shit, they're very smart. But every once in a while, I hear these pigeons sit up here and say dumbass stuff that don't make no sense. It grieves my spirit. And I'm like, it's you the reason why we got black men having these panels talking about black women so badly. Because it's the way some of these broads out here, these bird brain broads, the shit they say and the shit they do, it makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. It makes no sense for you to sit up here. He got me pregnant. I didn't want no more children. He just kept getting me pregnant. I said, what? I'm like, is this broad serious? And let me tell y'all, she said it with so much passion, like her ass was right, like it was making sense coming out her mouth. I'm like, oh my gosh. This is the reason why as black women we get talked about so bad. And it's just ridiculous. It's to the point where, I hate that as black women we're talked about so harshly. I don't like it, but I understand it, because some of the shit some of these women say out their mouth, it makes no goddamn sense. It makes no goddamn sense. I know, to all of my sisters in here, we all know, we all have that one chick that's dumb as a box of rocks, who swears, who will say stuff like she sounds so intelligent, but you know what she's saying makes no goddamn sense. But the tone of her voice, she says it so intelligently to make it sound like it makes sense. I said, oh my gosh, it's embarrassing. This is the reason why, as black women, we have to work 20 times harder to prove we are different from these raggedy ants and these bird brains, because they are messing it up for us. There is so many of some of these sisters that want to kick knowledge, but at the same token, they're doing ratchet ass stuff. And we wonder why, as black women, we are given such a hard time, because we're going to constantly, it's the decent black women that are going to pay the price for the pigeon brain ones who be doing dumb stuff and saying dumb stuff. I mean, that's where we at. So even as a black woman, no matter how intelligent you try to sound, even if you're kicking some actual factual knowledge, some of these brothers, they're not going to respect it because it's so many ratchet ass black females that's overshadowing the black women who got knowledge and who got intelligence. We are outnumbered. If you are an intelligent black woman, you're going to be outnumbered by the ratchet ass females out here because they're the ones that are standing out. It's sad, but they are outnumbering us. It's more ratchet sisters than they are intelligent sisters. And it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? We ain't signed up for it. But this is the reason why, as a black woman, you got to work 20 times harder to prove that you're different. And it's so unfortunate because it has gotten so bad that if you are a black woman and you don't have any children, they think something wrong with your womb. They think you barren because they don't even think a black woman is smart enough to not have so many goddamn kids. They think something wrong with you. Oh, she must be can't have kids because they don't think none of us are smart enough to protect ourselves because there's so many dumbass black females out here that are doing that dumb stuff. So when we don't do it, they think something wrong with you. Yeah, exactly, Delilah. Exactly. I I've been told because I have one child, they think something wrong with me. I've been told I must be can't have any more kids. Oh, so you don't think I'm smart enough to realize after one child that I don't want to put any more kids on my plate? Or I'm not smart. If it's sad, but as a black woman, if you do something different, they think something wrong with you because it's so many ratchet ones. Oh, you don't have kids? What's wrong with your vagina? Your vagina must be disabled. They think your cervix has a goddamn disability. God damn. So you mean to tell me I'm not smart enough? I'm seeing other black women around me messing up, making poor decisions. I'm seeing how life is kicking them in the ass. And because I'm not doing like Peaches and Nene, something wrong with me. So something wrong with me. Cause I don't have 8, 9 children. I tell people my mom got one grandchild. People look at my mom like she from a goddamn foreign ass planet when she says I only got one child because it's 5 of us. I got 4 other siblings, and I'm the only one that has a child. All of my siblings are over 30 years old. None of them want kids. They're happy with their life. They're content with their life. They think we from another foreign goddamn planet. They think my brother gay because he don't have a bunch of goddamn kids. The irony. When you try to be wise as a black man or a black woman, they think it's something wrong with you. You're a black man. You don't have 8, 9 baby mamas. You must be down low. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You do something different, they think you dysfunctional. You think you're dysfunctional. Because you're a black man and you ain't around here screwing every black woman that's offering you, coochie on the platter, they think you gay. Oh, cause you intelligent. You won't screw every Kim, Keisha, and Kiki. Oh, you must be gay. Woo! I'm telling you. You know why? You know why? Because in the black community, the truth of the matter is we don't think none of us are that smart. We don't. So if we see one of us doing something different outside of the box, we're going to automatically find something wrong with it. That is where we are as black men and black women within the black community. Something's wrong with you. Sally Sports says, sadly, that goes both ways in the black community. If you're different, something's wrong with you. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. All black women, all of us ain't trying to have no 8, 9 baby daddies. That don't mean we barren. That don't mean something is mentally wrong with us. Oh, if she ain't got no 4, 5 kids, that means dudes ain't checking for her. Something wrong with her. She must be a bitch. She must be stuck up. No, that's not true. Some of us as black women, we are experiencing what other black women are going through, which is enough to deter us to say, I don't want to go down that road. Believe it or not, it's some sisters out here who are woke. Yes, we do have some ratchet ass ones that are still sleeping on these dirty ass mattresses with no fitted sheets, but that's another goddamn story. What I'm saying is, some of us as black women, we are waking up. Okay, when all of us are not dumb, we see what's going on, and we're trying to run away. We're trying to go a whole nother direction. All of us ain't feeling that shit, and not only that, we as black women, we all ain't co-signing on the fuckery. We all ain't co-signing on the ratchetness. If I'm in a public place and I see a black sister acting up and going stupid in Waffle House because the chef didn't put enough steak in her omelet, I'm out of there. I'm not gonna sit there and film her and put it on YouTube because I don't support the ratchet movement. There are black women out there who are against the ratchet movement. I don't deal with ratchet women. I'm not friends with ratchet women. I will not have ratchet women on my panel. I am allergic to ratchet ass black women, period. Now, I will deal with an intelligent black woman. I can hold a conversation with an intelligent black woman. But if she's on some ratchet bullshit, I'm not going to co-sign with her just because she black just like me, or because she light skinned just like me. No, because there's some black women who not on my level of intelligence. I don't give a damn. If she acts ratchet, I don't want no parts of her. You got 5, 6 kids, you can't come to my house and hang with me. We not on the same level. I call it arrogant, stuck up, whatever you want to call it. I'm just on a different level. I'm not going to support her just because she's a black woman like me. No. And I'm not going to stand there and support and watch a black woman act an ass out herself and give her a round of applause like it's cute. Because it's not cute, it's embarrassing, and it reflects on all black women. It just does. Or whatever. All of us are not supporting the fuckery. We're not with it. And believe it or not, all of us, we don't want men with a bunch of goddamn kids. Just like you have some black men out there who don't want a black woman with a bunch of kids. I respect that. I understand that. I don't blame you. I've heard several times, I've gone to some of these panels, and I have heard black men say, I will not date a sister who got different baby daddies. I'm not going to date a woman with children. I respect that and I understand that. But do y'all not realize that there are also black women out here who do not want to date a man with a whole bunch of goddamn kids? First of all, you can't take me out nowhere because you owe too much goddamn arrearage. I don't want, if me and you at the Red Lobster, I'm enjoying my cheddar biscuits and drinking my amaretto sour. Your baby mama keep blowing up your goddamn phone asking you what time you gonna put little JJ and Kiki up from childcare. We ain't with the shits either. Hello. We ain't with it either. Okay? We don't want to deal with y'all baby mamas no more than y'all want to deal with our baby daddies. Okay? Because a lot of y'all baby mamas are dysfunctional as hell. And what pisses me off is some of you dudes, y'all will not be honest. Y'all will go out here and date these women and act like you not behind on your child support arrearage. You know you got 8, 9 kids from all of these women, and you going out here to the club all swagged out with your new Jordans on, with your polo cologne on, with your Axe spray deodorant, looking good, smelling good, looking as good as $100 bill, and you was not sitting up here when these women start dating you and they start feeling you, catching feelings for you, get interested in you. You're not up here telling these women, you're not being honest and saying, I got all of these different baby mamas and all of them are dysfunctional as hell. Y'all are not being honest and letting these women y'all are dating know what they are signing up for. Okay? Because some of y'all ain't honest either. You know your baby mama crazy, all right? You know your baby mama bipolar, All right. And you will wait till we start catching feelings for you. We done got into you. We done been in bed with you. We're you know, we have emotionally invested in you. We don't know till we kicking it out your house one day. And this heifer pulls up in the driveway at her 2019 damn Toyota Camry and drops off your 6 or 7 kids. And you there like, yeah, they looking for a baby mama. And because my thing is, we just want to keep, this is my whole point. What I'm trying to make everybody understand is there are black men and there are black women that got too much goddamn baggage. Why do we only want to talk about black women baggage? Why do we only want to talk about black men baggage? There are black men and there are black women who don't have their shit together. Okay? We're not just going to talk about one gender. We're not going to do that. Okay? Because I know some black women who got their shit together better than some black men. And I know some black men who got their shit together better than some of these black women out here. I'm just tired of the one-sidedness. We got a lot of people screwed up in the black community. It's as simple as that. What's up, Jasmine? What you waiting on, Seven? What you waiting on? Cause I know it's been a minute since I talked to you. That's what I say. As a black man, as a black woman, if you're a black man and you're not argumentative and you're not you're not a drama king, and you're not up to arguing and get mixed up in a kind of drama, you know, they're going to assume that you're weak. They're going to assume that you're spineless. I mean, if you're a black woman and you're not argumentative, you're not being a drama queen, you're trying to be intelligent, then some of these brothers will say, oh, she thinks she all of that. She's stuck up. No, I'm not stuck up. It's just that you're so used to ratchet ass females. And because I'm not conducting myself in a ratchet ass manner, you don't know how to handle me. You don't know what to do with me. And that's what's going on in the black community. It's too much ratchetness. We got some ratchet, Pookie and Ray Rays and Peaches and Nays. We have a lot of that going on in the black community. So the moment you try to stand outside the box and you carry yourself with class, you carry yourself with dignity, you carry yourself as an intelligent black man or an intelligent black woman, to push a button or push a nerve just to see if they can get that Pookie and Ray Ray or that Peaches and Nene to come out of you. They're going to try you no matter how intelligent you are. I've been on some panels, and as a black woman, for the most part, I've always been respectful. I've always made sure, I don't overtalk the men when they invite me on their show, they invite me on their panels. I carry myself with class and grace. And it never seems to amaze me. It's always those one or two rock rollers. It's always some of these brothers on these panels that be growling and trying to poke at you and say things disrespectful to you to try to get Peaches and Nene to come out you just so they could prove their point that all black women are ratchet. Even when you're being cool, calm, and collective, even when you're carrying yourself as a woman, as an intelligent woman. Oh, okay, I got you, Seven. Yeah. And they're going to try to poke the bear. I've been on some panels where I have carried myself as a professional, intellectual woman. And there will always be that one Pookie or that one Ray Ray who will raise his voice or say something out of pocket or say something disrespectful. And the moment I defend myself, I'm automatically ratchet because I'm not going to sit there and let you disrespect me. So you poke the bear, and when the bear attacks you, you still want to try to make me look like the bad person. It's too much of that going on in these YouTube streets. I can't do nothing with a raggedy whack whack ratchet. Exactly. Hood and ghetto as hell. And you're right, Rep. But yeah, But I know I've been digressing. I've been all over the place. But the main subject at hand is it's a lot of us as black men and black women. Some of y'all are going to be in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s, and your grown kids are still going to be staying with you. Because that's really what the topic was about. I know I'm all over the place. Some of y'all will never live y'all golden years. Some of y'all would never have that pleasure of walking around your house booty butt naked because you got your grown kids staying with you and your grandkids, and sooner or later your great grandkids will be staying with you. It's too many of us as black men and black women. If you are over 50 years old, you really, if you, I say, if you, I say, I'll give it about 40. If you're over 40, over 50, your grown children should not be living with you. What's up, Art? Good to see you. Now, as I stated, there are different situations. Now, as a parent, if you're disabled, you have a medical condition, or you trying to get yourself together, or you fell down, or you just had a hardship and you had to go back home to regroup. Maybe you divorced, maybe you got evicted, or something happened. Things happened. That life happens. I'm not talking about sudden situations. I'm talking about these ones who never moved out and ain't trying to move out the nest. And on top of that, they keep breeding babies under their parents' roof. We have a lot of that going on within the black community. It's too many of these grown parents, these parents up in their age, they still are raising their grown children. Children over 25, over 30. They still living with you. In some cases, some of them don't have a job. Some of them barely got a car, or they got more kids than they got money. Some of us as parents, y'all have created these monsters, okay? Y'all have created these monsters because you have not prepared your children when they were younger. You did not prepare them to establish themselves at a young age. You did not teach them how to be self-sufficient and how to be independent. When you don't start teaching them at a young age, what happens is they become overgrown adults who still can't get their ish together. What's up, Lord? What's good? If you over the age of 45 and you live with your grown child. Yeah, that's not good either. That's a very good point, Lord. You do have some grown ups who got their own house, and their parents got to still stay with them. The parents are not stable. The parents, I know a couple of people in that situation. I know a young lady. Her mom always done lost every apartment she done had, lost every house she ever had, and had to keep coming back and staying on her, keep coming back and living on her. So this has happened a lot in the black community. As black men and black women, a lot of us are failing to get our stuff together. We can't get it together. We just can't. Give me out, Mocha. Ain't it 7? You should not still, you should not a lot of it, let me be honest, a lot of this is coming from bad karma. um Bad parenting, when you have failed or you have neglected being a good parent, what happens is you end up becoming one of those parents. You put yourself in a position to where you will never have the luxury of being able to enjoy your golden years. There's somebody I know right now. Both of her kids are grown. She has a son and she has a daughter, and both of them are nowhere where they need to be in life, to the point to where her son, she has always been a mama's boy. Now, to give you a little bit more background into this, what I noticed in some cases with black women who got sons, I've noticed this. Now, I don't know if any of y'all in the chat room have noticed this, but in many cases, I have seen single black mothers when they have sons. I have seen them allow their sons to get away with murder at a young age. There was a particular female that I know within my family. Um, she had allowed her son to get away with a lot at a very young age. He was one of those young men who was a straight mama's boy. And she always defended him. Um, and she's always enabled his whiny behavior. I remember at the age of, he was maybe like 9 or 10 years old, and he was always very, very whiny. And I find it very disturbing when I see a young black boy being very whiny like a little girl. Now, it's one thing when you see, what's up, CC Rose? Now, it's one thing when I see a little girl being whiny, because it's in the little girl's nature to be whiny because she's emotionally undeveloped. But when I see a young black male being whining and whiny at the age of 10 or and under, and 10, 11, 12, it's very disturbing to me. Um, because basically he's learning, he's already adopting feminine characteristics. Now I have seen this young man be very whiny, and his mother would always defend his whininess. And it was, she had him and she had a girl, which is her daughter. And I noticed how she would always defend her son, even when he was in the wrong, even when he could not get what he wanted. She would have no problem enabling him. But when the daughter did something wrong, she would penalize her for it. She would fuss at the daughter. She would yell at her daughter. And I noticed this a lot in the black community, that some of these single black moms, not all single black mothers, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But in most cases, these single black mothers, if they got sons and they got daughters, most of the time they're going to let their sons get away with murder, and they're not going to let their daughters get away with as much. Um, oh yeah, thank you, Jess, for being one of the sisters that will admit that. Because you know us as black women, honey, we don't like to admit nothing, girl. I know what you're talking about. That ain't me, honey. That's not my house. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, as black women, we like to go and hide when we get exposed or something hits close to home. Girl, that ain't me. I don't know what you're talking about. Now back to my point. He was very whiny as a little boy, and his mama allowed him to get away with all kind of stuff. I would see him hit his sister, and the mother would defend it. Well, you shouldn't have made him mad, or why you was picking on him. She made him a wuss. He was basically a wuss at the age of 9 or 10. I would see this little boy cry and crocodile tears when he couldn't have his way. Or when, stuff he wanted, he couldn't get, he would cry and crocodile tears, and his mom would do it. Now, to this day, this young man is 34 years old. And do y'all not know he is still that whiny ass little boy that he was back when he was 19 years old? She basically created a monster. And it's unfortunate that a lot of women in the black community, y'all are raising y'all sons to be man child. Y'all are raising y'all sons to become another woman's headache. I'm gonna be frank. Sad, and they knew it. Cry for no reason. Yeah, exactly. When you have a strong dad in your house, that kind of shit, absolutely, rep. And that's the point that I'm going to. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's where I was getting ready to go. That's the road I'm turning down now. This is what happens when there's not a male in the home. Now, I can name several situations where either the man had no type of relationship, meaning the young man probably didn't even know his father. And in some cases, he may have a relationship with his father, but being that his father is in a separate household, he's still with his mother the majority of the time. So he's going to adopt most of his mother's feminine characteristics. So I noticed with this young man, when he was 19 years old, he had a very bad temper. He would slam doors, stomp, thump, throw things. And I'm going to tell you, single black moms out here now, if you got a son that got a temper, you in trouble. You're in deep trouble. If you know who his father is, I advise you put all your personal issues aside and you let that father step in and help you raise that son. Because I promise you, if he already has a temper, this same young man is going to raise up on you one of these days. I'm going to be frank with you. Every woman, every single black mother I know that had a son with a temper, that same son, when he got grown, either he pushed her, shoved her, or came close to it. Very true, Tony. Exactly, Just. I'm telling you, I was showing down and could do stuff. Exactly. Exactly. They will do it. Let me tell you something. What you single moms got to understand is these sons, as they get older, they get bigger. They grow chest hairs. They physically change. And the problem is they may change physically. They're going to get hair on their chest. They're going to get hair on their face. But the problem is, if you did not allow that your son to have a man in his life or allow him to have a father, a full-time father, what has happened is you basically have stunt his mental growth. And you're gonna have a physically built son that got the mind of a toddler. And these full-grown men are the ones who end up in somebody's prison because they can't handle their temper, or they end up raising up on you. They pin you down in your own house. I have heard cases in which grown women would get into it with their sons, and their own sons jack them up against the wall. Their own sons have tried to choke them out because you have not allowed another male counterpart to be in his life to break him out of that little boyishness. I've witnessed that a lot because because you have made your son soft. You did not allow a man to be in his life. If his father didn't want to be there, you should at least had a brother, or uncle, or grandfather. You should allow a man to be in his life while he was young. What happens is, in this case, when these young men transition into adolescent, now these young men become so out of control. These mothers want somebody to mentor their sons. Damage is already done by then. Mr. Ma'am, no, I haven't, cool gent. What is it? Is there an article, something I can read on there? Here are your coconuts. Why I don't date women? Because exactly, rep. Just says, well, it was the other way for me. He felt the superwoman powers come out. Yeah, in some cases it can go it can go the other way. But for these dysfunctional sons, these dysfunctional black men, it got a lot to do with their dysfunctional black mothers who raised them. Like I said, not all black women. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Just these dysfunctional black women create dysfunctional sons and dysfunctional daughters. Basically, she was not paying attention to all the signs. As black women, you got to pay attention to the signs. When you see your son has a bad attitude, he's quick tempered, he will throw stuff, he will hit things, that's a sign for trouble. If he's already doing that and he's not 10 years old, I suggest you put him in counseling. You give him a male mentor, put him some type of program where he can have a man in his life to help him balance that masculine counterpart that he's lacking. It's very important that you do that. Because what has happened, like the lady I'm telling you about, her son is 36 years old and he is terrible. This dude cannot get himself together for nothing. He's on drugs, he's stealing, he's taking things. And basically she got rid of him. She put her son out her house. So now he's going to become a problem to society. He's stealing from other people. He's breaking in people's houses. This is what happens to some of these single moms. When they children become a problem, even though they created as monsters, they get rid of the monsters they create. They don't want no parts of them. I've seen a lot. I've seen some of these black women. They made their sons their husbands. They have pampered their sons all throughout the majority of their life. And what happens is when they become full grown men, they can't get it together. They struggle. The maturity never sets in for them. And these are the young men who come out in the world. These are the ones that'll come up to you and jack you for your car, okay? That'll break in your house, all right? These are the ones that will impregnate your daughters and leave your daughters to have to be the single mom. When you create problematic children and you throw them out there, they end up becoming society's problem. They end up becoming society's problem. Exactly, bro. And what happened was he got so out of control, but this was the same young man you spoiled. This was the same young man you allowed to get away with throwing tantrums. This was the same young man who you defended with all his wrongdoing. Now that he's a full grown man, you don't want no parts of him. And I notice this a lot with us as black women. When our children get out of control, we don't want them. We want to throw them away. We want to get rid of our kids. We want to leave them on our parents. We want to leave them on the law. This is what happens when you start off parenting your children poorly. You start off defending them poorly. They end up becoming your worst nightmare to the point you don't even want them no more. I know everybody in this chat room knows a woman who can't do nothing with her own children, and she don't even want them. She done left them on her mama. She done left them on her daddy. Somebody else got to raise her kids, even though she was the one who created this monster. This happens all of the time in the black community. I know this one female, she made her son feel like he was the king of the castle. She always encouraged this young man's shenanigans to the point that she would even go so far as to talking about how sexy he was. I don't get why we as black women, we got to go on about how sexy our sons are. To me, that sounds kind of incestuous if you ask me. One thing to say, I got a handsome son, I got an intelligent son, but when we as black women, we're talking about how sexy and how fine our sons are, something is wrong with that, sis. You don't need to be looking at your son like he's somebody sexy. I disagree with that. Some of these women, it's some mothers that are so infatuated with their own goddamn sons. I'm like, sis. So I know some women that are so infatuated with their sons, they call their sons pet names. They'll say, he my boo, he my man crush Monday. You don't need to be looking at your son like a goddamn sex symbol. It's inappropriate. But just it happens all the time on social media. I have a Facebook page. I will see women post pictures of their sons with their shirts off, like he's her husband, like he's her man, and she will say how sexy and fine her son is. That's some sick shit, if you ask me. You shouldn't be talking about how sexy your son is. I see it all the time. It's inappropriate. And what happens, you boost his ego by making him think he the finest things to slice bread, to the point to where he feel he can disrespect women, including you. And what turns around and happens is when these young men disrespect you, you don't even want your fine ass son. You don't even want your sexy ass son no more. You don't want him. This chick, she did that. She bragged about how fine her and sexy her son was. But I realized that we as black women, the reason we do stuff like that, what happens is a lot of time your sons, especially the first oldest, 9 times out of 10, he's going to look exactly like his father. And if you still have feelings for the father and you are still infatuated with the father, you're going to be infatuated with the carbon copy of him, which is the goddamn son. Hello, y'all know I'm speaking some truth in here today. Can I get an amen? I'm telling you, that's why I don't have any girlfriends. Because I call them out on all kind of stuff. Yeah, a lot of y'all still in love with them damn baby daddies. And because your son look like the baby daddy you still in love with, you talking about how fine your son is. No, you looking at the carbon copy of your baby daddy. That's what that is. I'm telling y'all, some of us as black women, y'all are infatuated with y'all goddamn sons because your son look like the goddamn baby daddy and you still in love with your baby daddy. Telling you. I don't hear too many men doing it. Now I don't hear men going around here saying, damn, my daughter's sexy. Damn, my daughter got some big titties. If a man say something like that, he gonna automatically come up as a pedophile. But these black women, we do it all day long. We talk about how sexy our son is. Y'all some goddamn pedophiles too. Y'all don't need to be talking about how sexy your son is. That's inappropriate. Kujin says what most single mothers fail to realize that when a boy grows up, he will find someone. Exactly. Exactly. That's what happens. It's just sick. I don't want to hear no woman bragging about her son, how fine he is. Girl, my son is sexy, honey. I got a sexy son. If you don't get out of here with that, I don't know. That's an awkward conversation. I don't want to hear no woman talking about how sexy her son is. Now, if you want to say you got a handsome son, you got a smart son, I can go with that. Because if a man was to do it, it would be totally inappropriate. Yeah, cool, Jen. You never know. Yeah, it's inappropriate, and y'all do that all the time. And what it is y'all trying to substitute husbands. That's what's going on. When you can't get a husband, you can't get a man, you go to the next thing, which is your son. You look for your son to be the replacement of that. What's up, Crowned? Thanks for coming in. That's what I'm saying. I will be honest. I never heard a man talk about how sexy his daughter is. But you black women, y'all do it all goddamn day long. I've never heard a man do it. I could be honest. I've heard men say I got a pretty daughter, I got an attractive daughter, but I ain't never heard him say, "Oh, my daughter, the hips on my daughter, the butt on. Ooh, my daughter got a big ass." If a man come off saying that, he will look like a straight pedophile. You're not going to hear too many men saying that. I've never heard a man talk about his daughter like that. But these females, these single moms, y'all brag on y'all sons every day, all day long. And the thing about it is, eventually, like Cool said, your sexy son, he's going to move on and get another one. He's going to get a woman eventually, sooner or later. But, like I said, as black mothers raising young black sons, you got to pay attention to the signs. You have to know, you have to see from an early age when your son is troubled. He got tantrums. He getting in fights in school. He cussing. Y'all, as a single black mom, if you're ignoring your sons that's acting out, they are going to become full-grown men with a lot of dysfunctional problems. And you're going to get stuck with the monster you created. That's what's going to happen. But they run to these churches. Why they not getting married? Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely, metamorphosis. Yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much of that going on. Now, as I stated, it's important if you are a parent, whether you got a black son or whether you got a black daughter, and they're young, they're under the age of 20. It's a very important, it's very critical that right now you help them to get themselves established. You preach to them and you teach them the significance of being self-sufficient, the significance of being independent, and the significance of having a family versus just having children. Because I tell you, a lot of y'all are not going to ever enjoy your golden years because you're going to have a house full of grown children and grandchildren because you're not preparing them how to establish themselves. And which means they're going to have to live with you for the rest of their life. And not only that, they're going to be breeding children under your roof. You're going to be living with your children and your grandchildren all your life. As a parent, at some point, you're going to look to have your freedom. Nobody goes out throughout their whole life to have a child just so they could never eventually have a life of their own. At some point, you're going to look for them to have their own life. You're going to get tired of babysitting them, babysitting their children. It's sad, but some of these senior citizens, some of these men and women that's up in their age, they're never going to have a life of their own because they did not prepare their children at a young age how to start building their independence. 2 3 0. I was so in front. Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna tell you something, cool Jet. Those be the 2 3 0s that end up becoming 30 and 40 years old, off the chain, disrespectful, embarrassing you in front of everybody. That's what happens. You create monsters. You're a fool, Rep. A lot of that goes on, but I'm so serious. Um, it's too many of us in the black community that are still raising grown men and grown women. Um, they should have been out your house long time ago, but because you did not instill any morals, any values, you didn't instill them with any independence. The majority of y'all are going to be raising y'all grown children for the rest of your life. So for all of you young mothers right now, who got kids, you doing you always in the club, you always leaving your kids on your mama, leaving your kids on your daddy. Uh, you're not being a mother, you're just having children, because let's face it, anybody can have children, but not anybody can be a parent. And it go both ways. You got men that are not taking care of their children either. We have a lot of people that are breeding babies, but they're not being responsible for them. And what y'all are not understanding is right now, you are producing the seed of karma. You are producing the seed of karma, meaning that it's going to come back to haunt you and your golden years. It's going to come back to haunt you because instead of you taking the time to teach them how to be self-sufficient right now, You're leaving them on any and everybody. So when they become grown men and grown women, they are not going to have the tools and the mental stability to be able to go out there in the world and get their own things and start establishing their own life. That's what's going to happen. So, a lot of y'all will never experience having the house to your goddamn self. You're going to have a house full of grandchildren. And in some cases, some you may not even have just grandchildren. You may have great grandchildren because it becomes a generational curse. Once the mama starts staying with you, 9 times out of 10, the grandchildren are gonna stay with you. 9 times out of 10, the great grandchildren are gonna stay with you. If you live long enough, you may even have your great great grandchildren living under your household. It's never going to end. It's going to become an ongoing problem. So you can go ahead and do you right now. I've known a certain particular female. She stayed in the streets and never raised her children. She did her, went to the club, partied, had a good time, and sure enough, now she's over 40 years old because she took that time to do her versus preparing her child. Her grown daughters are still living with her, and her grown daughters got their grandchildren still staying with her, and she can't catch a break. She cannot catch a break because she did all her breaking in the beginning during her youth. That should have been a time when her children were small and young. That should have been a time when she should have been teaching them everything they needed so they could have been to move out her house by the time they're in their 20s. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Rep. Them houses that always got somebody home, 9 times out of 10, it's that it be that same family where they ain't teach nobody nothing. Somebody always home. You'll never get a break. You think it's cute now, and you don't see nothing wrong with it, but in the long run, you're gonna hate your life and you're gonna hate yourself. Who wants to come home at 50, 60 years old and come home to a house full of goddamn grandchildren running all over the place like a goddamn zoo? Who wants to deal with that? Don't you look forward? And let me tell you something. Another thing is that's why a lot of marriages are miserable. You have a lot of miserable married folks that are miserable because they got excess baggage in their marriage. They can't enjoy their marriage because they got to share it with the grown children. They got to share their house with the grown children. They got to share their house with the grandchildren. Now, it's one thing if your children got their own home and they coming by to visit you every once in a while. They coming by to bring the grandkids. So the grandkids could visit you, because you want to see your grandchildren and stuff. But again, that's when they're visiting. Now imagine them having to live with you. Every day you got to wake up to a house full of noise. Every day you got to wake up to a house full of people. Who wants to live like that in their 50s and 60s? The only way you're going to find a peace of mind, you got to move into a goddamn nursing home. You can't enjoy your own house. I'm so serious. Well, cool, Jen. Make sure you send me that. Now they want to follow Joel Osteen TV Ministry after getting that thing tomahawk. Rep, that is so true. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why in some cases, and this is not the case for all Black women. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But the reason why a lot of us as Black women, the reason why a lot of us have attitudes, and the reason why we're so angry in some cases, not all cases, because a lot of us got too much baggage. If you did not raise your children to be successful, um, you'll never really get to enjoy having a life to yourself. And this is the reason why some of these older Black women have attitudes, have a chip on their shoulder, because they do not have their own life. They got to go back home every day to a goddamn fiasco. They didn't raise their daughters, didn't raise their sons to get out there on their own. And now they are stuck with their grown children. Some women, they can't even get a man. They can't even get a male friend. They can't get a man or a male companion because they got a house full of grown children and grandchildren that are living with them. No man, especially once he gets a certain age, you're a woman, you 50 years old. Let's say you're 50 years old. You got a house full of grown children and grandchildren. Men in your age range are not going to be interested in you, knowing you still got grown children and grandchildren staying underneath your roof. A lot of women cannot have a life of their own because they're still raising their grown children. They can't have a relationship. They can't get married because once a man finds out all of your grown children and you got a house full of grandchildren staying with you, he's not trying to check for you like that. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You know, you have the audacity, these grown people living with their parents, got the nerves to be breeding, bringing more little birdies into the nest. Not only that, some of these grown people aren't even helping their parents pay the bills. You know, on top of that, some of these grown folks, they got the audacity to move in their baby mama or move in their baby daddy who ain't doing no more than they doing. And it's all you parents' faults because y'all have allowed this fuckery to continue from generation to generation. But anyway, I thought it was imperative that I shared this content because this is becoming an ongoing problem within the Black community. It's too many of y'all over the age of 40. Y'all are raising y'all grown children and raising y'all grandchildren. The reason you don't have a life of your own and the reason why you can't enjoy your golden years is because you have basically failed your children. You failed your children. You didn't give them the tools, you didn't give them the necessities and the knowledge and the wisdom they needed to be able to move out your house and start establishing themselves. So if you are in a situation, only thing I can tell you is that, you got to look back and reflect on where you went wrong and what caused you to get in this situation because it all started with you. You built the foundation. As parents, we are the ones who built the foundation. But anyway, y'all, it's definitely been real. I enjoyed hanging out with all of y'all. As I stated, I didn't upload a while because there was just too much chaos and too much foolishness going on the YouTube streets, and it just was starting to really, you know, uh get to me basically. And I've come to realization that I don't care where you go, whether if you got a YouTube channel, whether if you got a job, whether you got people in your own family, ignorance is um is going to always exist. That is the type of world we live in. And I've come to the realization that when it comes to these YouTube streets, there are going to be black men and black women that just don't want to stand for something positive. They don't want to stand for something real. They want to stand for foolishness, they want to stand for drama, and they want to stand for chaos. And I realize, unfortunately, that is the new trend as that the black sector of the YouTube streets. That is the trend that they're on. It's all about promoting ratchetness and ignorance. They're not trying to promote knowledge. They're not trying to promote wisdom. It's just a lot of the fuckery movement that's being promoted in the YouTube streets. And this is the reason why, as black men and black women, we cannot get ahead. Our growth is stunted. As Pastor Jakes would say, a good seed cannot grow in dirty soil. So don't be surprised. It's going to be a lot of good YouTube content creators that are not going to be here very long. And I'm gonna just be frank with you. I'm gonna continue to hang in there until God is ready to elevate me and move me to bigger and better things. But y'all are going to lose a lot of good YouTube content creators because there's so much of the fuckery that's over flooding the masses in the YouTube streets. is going to be positive content creators that are going to be leaving. They're going to basically leave this pollution to those who support the fuckery movement, because again, a good seed cannot grow in dirty soil. And what has happened is the YouTube streets have become very filthy. um those of us that are trying to strive for better and trying to strive for something positive, um we're the ones that unfortunately we're going to get blackballed a lot, because that is how the enemy works. The enemy does not want to promote greatness. The enemy wants to create chaotic chaos. So just be prepared. That don't be surprised if you start seeing a lot of good women and good men in the YouTube streets that are promoting positive, info. They're slowly but surely they're going to start falling off. Because what it is, YouTube is just allowing a lot of these black men and black women that's promoting the fuckery movement. YouTube is allowing them to continue to keep growing, and they're allowing them to continue to get away with murder and to continue to get away with disrespecting one another. And because of that, what's going to happen is those of us who are trying to promote something positive, sooner or later, we're just going to get fed up. We're going to get tired of, trying to promote something positive, and it's being overshadowed by all the negative content that's being produced out there. So don't be surprised. Slowly but surely, you're going to see more fuckery than you're going to see positivity. But for the most part, I don't plan on going anywhere. I will be here as long as God permits me to. I'm going to continue to keep discussing important issues within the black community that needs to be discussed. The issues that a lot of black men and black women in the YouTube streets, they don't want to touch on it. They don't want to discuss it because they're not making enough donations off of it. They're not getting enough reviews off of it. So, it's important that these issues be discussed, because these are the issues that are polluting the black community. So, on that note, everybody, I thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Make sure you hit that notification bell. So if I'm not going live and I upload another content, you will be the first to catch it. So make sure you do that. Also, if anybody's interested in traveling, you're welcome to hit up my email. I am a travel agent. You're looking to do something this summer. You want to go on a cruise. You want to go to Barcelona, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, you're welcome to email me at Cafe de Paris. For those of you also who are interested and getting streaming cable, you want to get 7,000 channels and you want to pay under $30. I'm selling cable for $25 a month, 7,000 channels. That's including free pay-per-view events that you don't have to pay for out of pocket. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to get ready to shut it down. It is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care, and I'll be hollering at y'all soon. Be blessed.